Hey, this is Monica from Theoterran.
This is Pathos from Symphony
Hi,
of
this
Heaven,
is
and
Randy
you are
Rose.
listening to the Johnny Taco
Hey, what's
Show.
up, everybody? This is Paul McCoy from the band 12 Stones, and you're listening to the Johnny Taco
This is
Show.
Sloths in a Bucket on Johnny Taco Show.
Hey, this is Sergio Pollock from A Vespertine Rising.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Sims from With Blood Comes Cleansing. You're listening to the Johnny Taco Show.
This is Patrick from Ritual Servant, and you're listening to...
Welcome to the Johnny Taco Show.
What's up, guys? Johnny Tacos here with another exciting and informative episode of the Johnny Taco Show. Today, I have my best friend in the whole wide world coming to help me co-host, like always, is Richie Rich.
Richie Rich in the house, in the call, in the Zoom.
Somewhere. You're somewhere.
Texas.
That is so funny that your green screen is blurred out.
Oh, it's a fake. It's a fake background
that you're blurring
but it
out.
looked so fake when I would be in front of it that I had to blur it out. So now, hopefully, it looks like I have this beautiful office behind me, but it's completely fuzzed out. But if I move my hand too much, the illusion is completely destroyed.
Can I do that too? I think I can. Oh, nope. You can almost see my Megadeth poster in the back. Almost. All right. So before we have today's guests, because the guests are just anxious to get here because they're little wee lasses because we're old and they're young. Just want to say, hey, if you are in search of a church, yes, I'm talking to you. That person that's like, hey, I want to get back to church, but the other church I went to was very, very rude to me. And I said, no, I will never go to church. But if you want to get closer to God, you got to have a map. And the map is the Bible. And someone to decipher that map. Decipher. Did I say decipher? Is that correct? I don't know.
Decipher.
There we go. See, that's why I have Rich here.
You're thinking of Disciple, who is a phenomenal...
Yes, and Kevin always graces his presence every time he's in Dallas with the Johnny Taco Show, so it's pretty awesome. But if you're confused about when you look at the Bible, and sometimes it gets confusing because there's a lot of words that people don't talk like, and I guess our guest right now would tell us some of the younger lingos. Maybe they'll have the Gen Z version of the Bible coming out. You know, that'd be really cool, I guess. I'm confused. It's like they're talking Swahili to me when the kids talk to me. So it's getting to that point where I'm like that old fuddy-duddy guy that yells at the hippies to get their haircut.
But to stay on track, you need somebody you can trust to help you interpret those wild words.
And that is why you need to find a church that actually preaches from the Bible. And Renovation Church at the Peak in Midlothian, Texas does that. They open up the Bible. He goes to the verses. He doesn't do just the popular verses. He goes a couple of verses down and a couple of verses before. So you get the whole context. Context? Yeah, context. Boy, I am jumbling my words, man, today. I'm really excited because this is a very talented band. And Rich is already a fan. And I'm getting there. I need a couple more songs, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I think they have a huge future coming on. And also, it's a Christian band, so you know it's going to be wholesome. But again, I am losing point. That's why you need a pastor to get you on that right track. And Renovation Church at the Peak over there at 510 FM 663 in beautiful Midlothian, Texas. Go over there, talk to Pastor Tim. He will greet you with a hug. It's a It's weird because people hug in Texas, but he gives you a big warm hug, and you also leave with a cup and a gift card for coffee. So he wants you to be spiritually and physically awake. But anyways, that is Renovation Church at 510 5010 FM 663, Midlothian, Texas 76065. And also want to give a big shout out to Finding Hope Music Festival, which I am a part of. They have an awesome concert coming out. I can't tell who it is yet, but it's a huge name, contemporary, and I'm able to interview him or her. We're going to keep it mystery. We're going to take it back to the mystery times. But they reach out and they combine mental health with Christian values, and it helps a lot of people out that are going through mental instability with the Word of God. And you know, it's really great the work that they've done. They go out and they get these concerts. They ask me to MC, and it's a great way to push out the Word of God and to get people closer to Jesus, and hopefully and willingly, if they do, to stay in, because the repair comes from your soul first, and then your body. All right. Okay, that is enough of my plugins here. We have Collective Dust coming on the show. A bunch of young kids, really talented young kids. They're looking like they're older, and they got a little bit of peach fuzz everywhere growing. They're trying to look like Johnny Tacos here, but they are. It's like metalcore for MySpace. You remember the MySpace area where you had all these
metalcore for MySpace?
Yes, that's what I'm gonna say.
I'm so excited about hearing you explain this to this amazing band.
Well, okay. If I have to talk about it,
they may not know what MySpace is.
I'm pretty sure they know it's MySpace. But
okay, they're shaking their heads.
During about, what is it, 5 years, they had MySpace. They had an overwhelming array of metal bands that came out through there. Devil Wears Prada came out through there. Attack. Even if you go in the secular level, what is it? Alita's Way came from the MySpace. You also had Kingdom Collapse.
So are you thinking of MySpace metal as a genre? Is that how you're describing it?
Yeah, it should be a genre. It should be, because a lot of great bands that came out and they were MySpace famous. MySpace is no longer around. Well, it's around, but it's not as fabulous as Facebook. But that's where I got a lot of underground music from. Was from MySpace. I downloaded a lot of industrial metalcore. But these fine young gentlemen from Tennessee, they kind of get that feeling like we're going to have that second win, and it's starting with them. But you know what? Let's go ahead. I'm going to cut to a couple of their live performances, and you'll get that feel here. So play that beautiful bean footage. Now, all right, we are back, and that was Collective Dust, and we have the guys here. Are y'all here? Can you hear me?
We're here. Howdy.
All right, we have a howdy. They're trying to be Texan here.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Welcome, guys. Can you do a quick rundown on your name, instrument you play, and I'm super curious about how old you guys are.
And your sign, and how you like to walk down the beach.
No signs, no walking on beaches. That's optional, really.
We can give a favorite Bible verse if you want.
That'd be great.
Yeah, do it.
My name's Wilson. I sing and scream in Collective Dust. I'm 24 years old, which makes me the oldest in the band. And my favorite Bible verse is Colossians 3:23. And whatever you do, do it as unto the Lord. Do it heartily as unto the Lord, and not to men.
And that's a very metal thing.
Stage name Jiggy.
Oh yeah, I forgot stage
play
name.
the bass. My favorite Bible verse is probably Galatians 2:20. That's it.
My name's Ken. I'm 18.
I'm the rhythm guitarist, and I'm gonna have to say John 3:16 because I got no other verses on my mind right now.
Hey,
Forgot
hey,
to mention
okay.
my age. 17.
Yeah, okay. I'm Cole. They call me Mouse around here. I play the drums poorly. And my favorite Bible verse, I don't have one, but I did memorize all of Psalm 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the way of the wicked. I think that's all. Yeah.
That's all of someone.
I'm Jacob. They call me Kyle. I am I'm lead guitar and it's pushing me in the frame here. I'll go with Psalm 19:14. I believe it's let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer, maybe. I'm paraphrasing heavily here. Psalm 19:14.
You'll fall right into the show because I paraphrase a paraphrase. So I could say a whole story in 2 words.
Oh yeah.
He lives. There you go.
Technically, isn't that a pair of phrases, if you will?
Where's my drum beats? Where's my drum beats? I think I got drum beats somewhere. Oops, that's not it. All right. See, as you can tell that we are very professional in this show. So, tell us about the band. How did the name come to fruition?
Was it you?
Yeah, we were trying to find out a band name. We had one. It was Fall Short. I think Wilson came up with that.
That was
came
cool.
up with Fall Short.
And
And then me and this guy were sitting in the kitchen.
I was walking around. I was saying like something. I think I said Collective Crumbs. I was just making up funny stuff, and then I just said Collective Dust, and then Cole said that would be a good band name. So
And then we found the verse.
yeah,
that
we found the verse.
matches it.
So Fall Short, was that taken, or did you have an issue with it? What was?
I think it was just kind of figuring out what was. We're heavily inspired by other bands like Family Force 5, and they're like really, they're just really funny. And we couldn't figure out if we wanted to be really serious or have things that were like more lighthearted. And so Collective Dust is a name that's funnier but still has good meaning. So
Yes, because technically we are a collective of dust.
Mm-hmm.
Which I want to play that Dust in the Wind. That's going to be my funeral song. ADD always happens when I do my interviews. So
that's how we like it.
So how did the band come together? I know that there's 2 sets of brothers and a cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all just like, hey, y'all want to do something? I'm bored. Oh, well, let's make a band.
So, me and Jacob, we grew up playing music. And when I married Cole's sister, we lived together for a while. We had an apartment together for like a year, and we just like kind of threw around the idea of we should do a band someday or something like that. And it was mainly just something we'd talk about in passing. But I think about July, August of last year, a friend of mine reached out because he was playing a show and he wanted me to open for him, and I was like, that'll be cool. And then I got to thinking, I was like, maybe we could go ahead and try to make this whole band thing work out. And so I called Cole first, and then Keenan and Noah, and I asked them all like, hey, do you want to try making this real and like doing a real band, do our own songs and stuff like that? And so from there, I started teaching them all their instruments and stuff, and that's kind of where it started.
So you're the wise old prophet that had your buddies, your disciples, your fellow disciples behind you.
You could say that. I think I usually get referred to as Unk.
Man, you're like young, so we can't see that.
Now, Wilson, your songwriting's hard to pin down. So when you ask these guys to join the band, what did you describe? This is what did you say? This is Family Force 5, or where did you land on the description?
So we started. All of us in the band are huge fans of Family Force 5 and Disciple are probably like 2 of the biggest bands that we all bond over. And so we started kind of wanting to emulate something similar to them. That was some of the first song we learned as a band was Country Gentleman by Family Force 5. And so yeah, it began with kind of wanting to emulate something along that style. But we're all super big fans of like that 2000s MySpace era of metalcore, with all like the electronic dancing parts and stuff like that. So it kind of evolved into that, as we were rediscovering some of that older music. So yeah, it started kind of how you said, is like we try to sound like Family Force 5, but it kind of moved beyond that into a heavier sound.
So, have y'all picked up an instrument before? We'll start with Jiggy.
I played bass I got a bass for Christmas. It was like a short scale bass, but I played it a little bit, not too much, because I didn't really have like a motivation. But Wilson kind of sparked that by starting the band, so that's when I really started playing.
Jiggy, I noticed you play with your hands. Do you ever play with a pick? Do you have a pick
Yeah,
preference?
so I used to play with mainly my hands only for like just but now I do pick for all of Wilson's songs because they're a lot faster,
Yeah.
a lot heavier. So
He shreds
Destroys
through picks
pick,
every single day. You know?
Destroys them.
It's ridiculous.
We got to start buying the extra thick ones.
So with this music that you decided to, and how did your parents feel about it? Because y'all started what a couple years ago that y'all started the band.
So the idea of the band started a couple years ago. The band itself didn't start up until this past July. So we've only officially been a band for 7 or 8 months now.
And with that, because
Oh yeah,
because y'all started a couple, you had the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have to make sure that the idea was going to be 100% before you gave the getaway, or were you trying to fine tune and trying to figure out what does collective dust mean to you?
Yeah, I think we kind of just like
No.
yeah. We like I said, we had ideas of it before, but it wasn't. It was something we'd mainly mention in passing, like, hey, it'd be cool if we did this. Hey, I read a Bible verse or heard this song today that if we ever made our own music, we should do something similar to it. And then it wasn't until I got invited to play that show that I was like, hey, how about we do this for real and come up with some ideas for what we want to do. So we kind of winged it on the spot with where we were going to go with it.
So do you see this band growing bigger and bigger and maybe going out to tour soon?
We would love for that to happen, and the Lord's really blessed us since starting. Like we made our Instagram account just as something that people could see, and we weren't expecting it to grow the way that it did. And like it's just been one blessing after another, and a lot of different opportunities. Like being on this podcast was like we've all been super stoked leading up to this, and so we really feel like the Lord's leading us to continue for this as a career, and we pray that it will grow and we get to tour and release our own music and stuff.
And they have more followers than me, and that's pretty good for a quick for y'all just starting off in July, which is
we're blown away by it. Yeah.
Well, it's because y'all are each talented, and God has given you a gift, and y'all are finally crafting it to the piece to make that band a whole. With that, you performed at your church. Have you had offers to go to other venues?
So we that first show we ended up playing, the first show that I got invited out to play, we actually didn't end up doing that one as a full band show because it was at a bar, and so the other guys were all too young to play it, so I just ended up doing that one solo. But we ended up getting invited out to the same friend. He hosted his own he called it the Monster Mash. It was like a Halloween concert, and that was down in Mississippi. And then in May, we will be traveling out to Arizona to play a festival that another friend of mine hosts at his house.
Wow. See, you got a lot of things coming up. Hopefully you'll be able to do some kind of tours in between, and you can hit up like Louisiana, like take that straight line, Texas, and New Mexico, that area, try to get it down. That's what a lot of bands do. When they they have a festival they got to go to that's like a couple of states away. They
Mhm.
go on the phone, they call up places, say, hey, do you need a band to play? And then they set up their little mini tour. And I've been in the business for a long time, and that's like the easiest way for you to get exposure in different states is to say, hey, can I open up for any bands? Or have you reached out to any of the bigger bands and said, hey, is there any way I can open up for you?
So yeah, we haven't reached out to a lot of places yet because we're all super super new to this. I've got really bad like anxiety about reaching out to people, which I'm actually starting to get over. Um, but we haven't reached out to any bands, but we have reached out to a couple venues that actually haven't answered us yet. um, we have had another smaller band from Texas. Actually, they reached out to us, and they're a really talented group of younger guys too. They're called Unbroken Rain.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're super
They're like my
awesome.
favorite right now.
They're another Christian metal band from I don't know where in Texas, but they're from Texas.
I think they're from Midlothian, which is next door to me.
Oh, that's
I need
sick.
to go, yeah, I believe so. Don't get me wrong. I think we were supposed to have them on the show. I think something happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But doing that, and you actually have a nice flow of natural followers that are going through because y'all are young. Your music is great. You know, you're putting out that content, and your music can actually be played with secular bands, which is pretty awesome too. Um, that right there is like the door opener to discipleship is being out there and playing with the secular groups. You know, there's you know, you have Skillet that does that. You have Devil Wears Prada. You have so many other bands that can go out there and perform with secular. Their music is still worshiping God, but it's to a place and to a way that it doesn't feel like you're forcing.
Mm.
And that's the way I feel that your music is going. Do you agree with that, Rich?
Uh, exactly. You know, before they even played a note, I I I knew who the brothers were because of the matching Ramones haircuts. So my newest question is the Ramones haircut the direction that all you guys are going to head in, and or is that a genetic factor?
So for me, I'm in the process of trying to get that old 2000s emo hairstyle if my hairline will allow it.
Tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
I've had people at work sing that to me when they've seen the way my hair's going right now.
Hey, it's I remember that I'd never had hair like that, but I knew a lot of people that had hair that was kind of like that emo punk kind of phase that a lot of kids had back then. I could say kids because I was like in my late 20s when all that came through. But
Ooh, tacos.
yeah.
I have a two-part question now. There's a new member. I want to know more about that. And have you, as the new member, learned the running man and punching choreography that is an integral part of your shows?
Yeah, so that's me. I'm the new member. I growing up, Wilson and I are brothers, and we both started playing music at the same time when we were really young. Piano was first, and then moving on. I hated piano. Uh, did band. I played trombone for a little while, but it wasn't till drums that I really fell in love with music and started playing. And then from then on, like not too long after that, the goal was always to be in a band. And then there was a challenge just with finding other people who played the kind of music as Wilson and I growing up, and then growing up, moving on, doing other things. I wound up a couple years ago. I started doing a lot of seasonal work, and I've been out and about in a different state every few months. And then they started the band whenever I was out on fire this summer. I guess I should clarify, I was not lit on fire. I was out fighting fire, wild on fire, and then Wilson had asked if I was back in for when they did the Monster Mash, if I would like to play guitar with him and fill in, because I think initially Keenan had hurt his hand and the worry was that he wasn't going to be able to play, but he was, and then we just wound up. I played a couple songs with him, and there was always kind of this standing offer of me being in the band, but I was with the fire and other things, I just didn't know, and then past few months I've been hanging around and it's kind of gotten to the point where I guess been fully inducted as a member who may just disappear from time to time when trees catch on fire, but so it's been I promise I'm getting they the choreography, I'm working on it. I've never been a dancer. Now, punching and kicking is something I can do, but making it look pretty is not always the easiest thing. They do this little. I've still been struggling with it. One of our songs, Django. They always do this thing when we get to the end of the first verse, the last little riff in the first verse. They do this little silly little MySpace shuffle, and they're all coordinated on it, and I'm always like forgetting that it's happening and hopping in late and then being on the wrong foot. So we're working on the choreography, but
well, the lead guitarist always wants the spotlight anyway, so
right. Yeah, just do something different. Go stand out in front of everybody.
That was all Kyle's fault. Which real fast, how did you get the nicknames? Did y'all give each other nicknames like Green Hero? Wouldn't that be Kyle because he's fighting fires?
You go first with yours.
So crazy. Mine has been around the longest, and it predates the band by several years. I met everyone through Wilson. And whenever I was kind of inducted into the group, there was already another Jacob, and so they said they needed another name for me, and Jaden, Cole's sister, suggested Kyle, and it stuck to the point where there's several people who, for several years of knowing me, didn't know my name is not Kyle, not first, not middle, not last. They just thought my name was Kyle.
I knew him for like 2 years, and it was so trippy.
They thought his name was Kyle for about 2 years, and then we were like Jacob, and who's Jacob? Mine, Mouse. I have a TikTok account, and the tag is Dumbo Mouse, and I couldn't find a good name that fit, and I was like, okay, I'll just use that because maybe someone would recognize it, and I just stuck with Mouse.
I don't know how he came up with yours, Wilson.
Yeah, Fishbone came from Cole had this hat. That I don't know the brand of it. I think it was some kind of fishing hat, but the logo on it was a fish skeleton. And I pointed at it one day, and I called it Fishbone, and we all laughed about it, and we thought it was funny. And when we started the band, I ended up adopting that as my nickname for the band.
I don't know if y'all know the game Super Smash Bros, but we were just playing that, and Bowser's kid's name is Iggy. So I just threw a J in front of that. That's the character it's always used. So
I thought it was Will Smith. Get jiggy with it.
We do say that a lot.
For Green Hero, growing up, I had a PlayStation 3, and there's this avatar. It's a dude with like a big old butt chin, and he's got like, I don't know how to describe him. He's got a big old butt chin and like a green, and I can't find it either. It's like gone, but he has a red antenna coming out of his head, and I just called him Green Hero, and it just stuck with me ever since.
When you say butt chin, can you be more specific?
It's a chin that looks like a butt.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like what Bruce Campbell has a little butt chin.
A line in the middle.
Yeah. But guys, we're getting closer to the end of the show. What do you have any upcoming new music coming out? I know you're having a festival in Arizona you're going to. What date was that?
That will be May 10th in Chandler, Arizona. The event's called Rock the Desert Fest.
Oh,
Or
okay.
this one's called Rock the Desert 5. So it's the fifth one they've done. Excuse me, I gotta. Oh, we just ate Taco Bell right before coming here. So
Wow.
I'm like trying to hold in all my burps.
Don't get them new Crunchwrap sliders, bro.
Yeah,
It's not worth
$5 for 2 Crunchwraps that are this big.
it. Not worth it, dude.
But yeah, that'll be at my buddy's house. If anyone's interested in going, they have to email Jason Wayne or DM Jason Wayne on Instagram because it's his house, so he doesn't publicly post his address.
Yeah, that would be a newbie kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
You get some weird people over. I actually accidentally put my actual phone number on Facebook, and I had so many people calling me. I need money, or it was like all through days. It was embarrassing. But but guys, man, keep up the good work, dude. Keep it up. Rich and I are fans now. You gotta, when you come through Dallas, Texas, let us know. We can meet up with y'all, jam out with y'all, eat tacos that are not Taco Bell.
That's an essential.
Yes, you have to have the tacos. I will take you to the best tacos in the world, and I'm not saying the ones that I cook, because my house is too small to have everybody over. But
you mentioned any new music, and
I forgot to mention that. And we did just get out of the studio last weekend. We recorded our first 2 singles, and those are being mixed and mastered right now, and we hope to be getting them out within a month.
Can you tease the titles?
So one of the songs is called Me, Sarcastic, Never. And then the other one is called You Tell 'Em, Django, I'm Too Mad.
See, that reminds me of the Knockout Kids. They do titles of music like that. But thank you, dudes, man. I can't wait to hear them. You got to send me them before you put them out, because I love listening to new music before anybody else does. And I guess I'll let Rich listen on with me, and we'll rock out. But
Cool.
but yeah, man, guys, again, check out Collective Dust on Instagram. You can check their. You're on the Facebook too? The Facebook. You're on Facebook?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.
So go check them out. We'll be right back. We have Chris Johnson of Hard Look giving the hard word. So stay tuned. All right, that's the end of the show. I want to give a shout out to Renovation Church at the Peak, as well as Finding Hope Festivals. To all the new listeners that happen to stumble upon here, thinking that this is a Food Network show. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you know what? I have the opposite. I love being the bearer of good news, and the good news is Jesus Christ. And you do get edification through the testimony and the music of our guests. Want to give a shout out to all the diehard listeners that listen to us on the daily. You are the sour cream on this Taco Supreme. And without you, I would just be talking to myself on the wall, and that would give ample ammunition for my wife to put me in Gotham forever. To everybody, remember, don't have a good day. Have a great day. Until we meet again, this is Johnny Tacos, and you are listening to Origin Stories.